Domni etakataratomotoche taraha protomotortomoke. My name is Alsharon of the BlueStar, in service to Source, planet Earth, and to every starseed on planet Earth. I greet you in blessings today, and I want to speak to you about true reality for a moment or two. There have been many who have requested information on this. There have been many who feel or think, as it were, that when they leave this world and they move back into the fifth dimension, or for some people they think that they will ascend into the fifth dimension, and in true reality, to be honest with you, in a way, you will ascend into the fifth dimension only because currently you're in the third dimension, and technically moving into the fifth is ascending because it is moving upwards. Play on words, shall we say. So, when you are in the fifth dimension, it is not a situation where on a physical level, because you are physical in the fifth dimension. Let us begin a little bit earlier. When you came here, a situation occurred, and you, in essence, gave up your physical body. And your physical body, as a starseed, your physical body, your true body, resides in a place where it is very, very well tended and very, very well protected. And it has been there the entire time you have been here on this planet. And through a process, you have descended your energy until you were able to come into this world on a third dimensional basis, even though it was a high third dimensional basis, and you continue to descend your body. And once you reached about 3.6, you would have your first crossing over where you would pass away, and then you would be reborn, generally fairly quickly, and you would live that life. Now, the lifespans during this time were quite long, hundreds of years, generally speaking, and it was good. You were in either Lemuria or Atlantis. Many of you were healers. You worked in different areas, just all sorts of things. And this continued until you reached a level where you crossed over, and then you were born outside of Lemuria or Atlantis. And in those times, you were finding yourselves being born in what you know today as southern Peru, in Central America, in Egypt, in different places where civilization was beginning to prosper. And you brought knowledge and wisdom to these areas. Now, you weren't aware fully of who you truly were anymore. You weren't aware of where you came from in the cosmos, but you still had access to a great deal of your abilities and talents and things like this. And you became the teachers, and you became the priests and the priestesses who brought knowledge to people, to teach people, to assist people in moving into a state of evolution where they could begin the process of learning, growing, and experiencing everything that this world would eventually have to offer. Your physical body, as we are speaking here, is still waiting for you. And when you are finished in your incarnations upon this planet, you will re-enter your physical body. Think of it almost like a birth or a rebirth, where the soul enters the physical body to live that incarnation. Well, your soul is going to re-enter when you have your final incarnation. yes, and you cross over into what we term the near realms. You will move into an area around 4.7 on the dimensional scale in the fourth dimension. So you'll be at a higher level of the fourth dimension, which is where starseeds normally go anyway. But as it is your final incarnation, you will then begin a process by which you will release any attachments. You will release any what you would term karmic energies, if there are any remaining at that particular time. You will let go of and release any emotional tags to any experiences that you've had. All of these things, and your energy will be increased and raised, allowing for whatever needs to happen until it is a match, a perfect vibrational frequency match with your true self, your physical body. And at that point, you will merge back into your physical body, and you will slowly be awakened, and you'll be reacquainted, if you will, and reorientated to your surroundings, which does take a little bit of time. And then when you are ready, you will then transfer to a ship that is from your home. And at that point, you will either remain there if that is the case, but most generally, what will end up happening is you will end up going home, back to the planet where you came from when you came here. Now, one of the things that I need to inform you of is the fact that on a soul level, you do not die. You are immortal. But in a physical body, even in the fifth dimension, in the sixth dimension, seventh dimension, even though lifespans can be very, very long, and I do mean very, very long, at some point you will cross over and you will reincarnate. And you will reincarnate generally on the same planet where you reside on. There are times when, due to different things and different things that you wish to experience and explore, you may end up being reincarnated on a different planet, sometimes even in a different galaxy, in a different, an entirely different species, an entirely different place, to explore and experience different things. Sometimes this also happens when there is a negotiations happening between worlds, and they're wanting to learn about each other. And so this will happen for a short amount of time. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because just recently, in the last few days, there is a being, and he was known here anyway as the Ancient One. And he is magnificent. And he has been, if you look at it in Earth terms, he has been around for hundreds of millions of years. And he was revered. And he crossed over 2 days ago in your time frame. And there were a lot of beings in the universe and in this galaxy who felt his passing without even consciously knowing that that's what happened. And there have been people on this planet who have also felt his passing, because he was instrumental and a very huge proponent for this project here on Earth. Now, he will come back, but I'm telling you this for a very specific reason. I need you to understand that here on this planet, you forget. You are incarnated, and generally for the first 2 years of your incarnation, you will remember, oh yeah, I came down here to do this and to do that and to experience this and to have these interactions. And then around the age of 2.5, all of a sudden you're like, wow, look at the pretty colors. And you don't remember anymore, you see. And so because you don't remember, then it's a guessing game. You are doing the best that you can to follow your heart and guidance. And that's why people like me come in and we tell you over and over again how important it is to follow your heart and guidance, and how important it is to trust your intuition, to utilize your imagination, to discern the information you receive, because this is what guides you on your path here. This lifetime that you are living is the most important lifetime that you've lived, because you are currently living this lifetime. And in this dimensional expression, in this dimensional sphere that you are residing in, this is the only lifetime you are living in at this moment. From my perspective, I can tune into a life you had 500 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, or 10,000 years ago. And it says, and it is like you are living it in this moment. And when you finish your time here, and you've gone through your transition, your final transition back into yourself, and you have done your adjustment, you will recall all of the lifetimes that you've lived. And you will probably say something along the lines of, wow, it seems like it was a long time ago, and yet it seems like it was only yesterday, which is a common phrase in the quantum. I can assure you, I say it regularly myself. Some of you will find and discover that you are not human at all. And some of you will discover that you reside on ships that have a consciousness. And you will reside, and you will realize that you come from a species that in truth does not breathe oxygen. And yet, these are all things you do here. You breathe oxygen. You go through your existence, through your incarnation, as though this is your true reality, when in fact, this is the reality you are in service to this world and to Source. This is very important to remember, because at the end of the day, there are a great many people here who are dedicated and in service to you, the Starseed. You look at myself. You can ask this one. Yes, you can ask him. I do not talk to him. I never do. I have spoken to him 3 times. I speak through him to all of you. I don't need to do anything for him or with him. He is the means that I utilize to be able to come in and speak to all of you, to answer your questions, to assist you on your journey. He has those who are dedicated to assisting him on his journey. When you find yourself on the other side of the veil, you will discover that all these little fears that you have, these fears of confrontation, fears of rejection, fears of not being good enough, of not being worthy enough, will go away. You will discover that you are the truly sacred and divine individual that I have told you that you are. Because you see, I do not tell you this to make you feel good. I do not tell you this so that you would say thank you. I am telling you this because it is a statement of fact. Amongst you here, you would think, oh, well, I'm not really big into science and mathematics and things like this, but on the other side, you're actually a scientist. Or so many different things. There are so many different things that you do on the other side that you may not do here. You may come from a world who are very analytical or very heart-based. You may find yourself coming from a world that is in truth very dark. But that doesn't mean that you are not of service. It does not mean that you are not here for all the right reasons. You see, think of it this way. You look around you on this planet. What do you see? You see a tremendous amount of diversity. You see hundreds of countries, hundreds if not thousands of different languages, dialects. You have thousands upon thousands of religions and spiritual beliefs and ideas and things like this. You have such a diversity on this planet. As above, so below. In the cosmos, in the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, there is tremendous diversity. In truth, there is actually more diversity than what is on this planet, I can assure you. And the first time that you meet one of the feline races, you will know what I mean. You see, we also get caught up in certain labels. You will say Pleiadians, Syrians, Arcturans, Lyrans. You are mentioning star systems, galaxies. Truth of the matter is, there are many, many different planets within those star systems that are participating in this project. The Pleiadian star system probably has a good 20 different worlds in it that are participating on some level with this project. And they do not classify themselves as Pleiadians. But here on this planet, you want to try and keep it simple. You want to try and keep it in a way, in a form that you can understand, that you can realize. So you say Pleiadians, and that encompasses all of the different races and all of the different beings from the Pleiadian star system who either have or are working on this project. And there are many Pleiadians who are incarnated on this planet. There are many Syrians incarnated on this planet. There is Lyrians on this planet. There are beings from over 100 different worlds, well over 100 different worlds, in even beyond this galaxy that are incarnated on this planet. And yet, at the same time, there are beings out there in the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, in this very galaxy and in other galaxies that know nothing about this project. Although there are those who are feeling the energy of what is happening here, and they're going, oh, that's like a quake within the fabric of time and space. That's a quake in the energy, the very fabric of the energy that is moving through the universe. And they know that, and they know something significant is happening, but they are not conscious of what is happening here. And yet, for many different races, this is where the action is, and this is where their focus is, you see. So when you are finished here, whether it's after this lifetime or you have another 2 to 4 lifetimes left to go, it does not matter. Because you see, many of the challenges and problems that you have faced in this incarnation, you will not face in your next incarnation. And when you come back for your next incarnation, you will be so filled with a new energy. And all of the karmic stuff that you have been dealing with in this incarnation will be gone. And your focus will be simply living your truth, living spirituality. You won't even classify yourself as being spiritual. You won't classify yourself as being religious. You will simply live a spiritual life and existence that is more in alignment with who you really are. This is where you are headed. And when that time comes and you have your last incarnation, and you will be met by the ushers who will take you to the other side. And when your final incarnation happens, you will be taken to a special place in the near realms, in the upper near realms, where you will be met by particular medical people that are in the fifth dimension who will assist in releasing and removing anything that is of this planet, that is of this earth. You see, as you continue to reincarnate here, the things that you carry within your etheric body remain. And so when you cross over and you reincarnate, those things get reattached to you, because those things are what you carry here. But when you have your final incarnation, these things are removed. And I can guarantee you there will be plenty of you, many of you, that when you realize who you really are, what you really look like, where you really come from, the attributes that you actually carry within you, the type of individual you are, why you actually came here, when you realize all of the lifetimes you have lived here and all of the things you've experienced here, you'll be surprised. Some of you will be shocked. A few of you may even try and deny it for a short amount of time. But when you fully step back into who you truly are, up there, reclaiming your sacred self, your fifth dimensional self, the first thing that will probably go through your mind and through your heart is, thank God, this feels so good. Please feel free to write your questions in the comment section. I will be more than happy to answer your questions, preferably on this topic, but I reserve the right to answer as I choose to answer, so please be aware of that. We are sharing this information with you for two reasons. One, we've had many requests around this information, but number two, it is almost, in a way, helping to prepare you for what is to come. You see, to do the transition, to descend the energy, to transcend from being a fifth dimensional person down into the third dimensional avenue, shall we say, it takes some time. And it takes several lifetimes to descend the energy. And then as you're moving through this, you are then anchoring more and more into the density so that you can operate here fully and completely. In the same vein, leaving this world takes a little bit of time to make the proper adjustments that allows you to reintegrate back into where you come from. So for many of you, it will take one lifetime, 2 or 3 lifetimes, or 4 lifetimes before you are fully ready to move into that space. In your final incarnation, you will be given a great deal of assistance in your preparation. Now, having said that, more than likely you will not be conscious of the assistance you are being given for that purpose. The whole point is that it's very, very important to those above who run this project, which is the High Council of the God Star, that your transition back into your true self and back to where you're going back home, shall we say, is done with as much grace and ease as possible. Now, I do understand that for many of you, you are experiencing issues. You are having issues around perhaps your lives, having issues dealing with lack of money or lack of this or a lack of that. And it is very important that you focus more and more fully on listening to your heart and guidance and trusting in yourself and realizing that things may not change today, and that's okay. But that you need to be open and you need to be focused and you need to be willing to discern within and follow your heart and guidance on the path that you walk. Only by doing that will you begin to truly start walking the path you are here to walk. This is so vitally important. This one was guided a few years ago to make that his new focus, to assist people to walk the path that they're here to walk. And so this entire, what do you call it, organization, group, whatever, the Awakening Network, BlueStar Universal, that is their focus. Everything is about that. This is why. This is why we keep pushing on you to have that trust and faith in yourself for yourself and follow your heart and guidance and discern, because the more you do that, the more you walk the path that you're here to walk. There are no quick fixes or easy answers. Spirit doesn't work that way. Spirit takes its time. Now, allow us to see what questions there may be. Samantha, you want to have a friend that's a big cat. Okay. Interesting. Samantha, are there 5D beings residing in the inner earth? And if you raise your consciousness, will you meet with them in this lifetime? As you know for yourself, this is your last incarnation, and you will not be meeting any of the beings that are in the inner earth. Most of the beings in the inner earth are in either the very high vibrations of the third dimension or lower fourth dimensional vibrations. They are outside of what is termed the near realms, which is also fourth dimensional, and it is where those go, where once you have crossed over, that's where they go to. But it's a different, the vibrational frequency of where the near realms is closed off to those who are living, except for those who are what you term mediums to interact and to provide healing and things like this. But I mean, generally speaking, for someone who is incarnated, they are not able to just walk into the near realms. Those within the inner earth are doing their work. They are also, some of them within the inner earth, truth be told, are actually from Lemuria and Atlantis. And some of them are extraterrestrials who have been residing in there for a very, very long time. There are also refugees in there who are in that space until a time can be discovered for them to be moved and things like that. More than likely, you will not be interacting with them. However, that's to say that it is possible, but I wouldn't necessarily wait around for it, if you would. Amy, you feel most at peace when you visit aquariums. You feel like you came from the ocean. You had someone tell you that you were a mermaid in a past life. Well, actually, you are from Sirius, and you come from a water world. And although I would not necessarily classify this as mermaid, you do reside in true reality in water, shall we say, or in an ocean. So that is the reason why you have such an affinity for that. Janelle, how do you know you are choosing what your job is when it's so easy to catch yourself functioning at a lower vibration sometimes? When you find yourself operating at a lower vibration, you have to stop. You have to put everything to the side. You have to focus on raising your vibrational frequency and then re-asking the question. You have to discern. You have to really feel. And you do need to be mindful because you reside here, it is very easy to get caught up in the trappings of third dimensional life. It's very true. So sometimes you need to stop, step back, and reevaluate. And that is most important. And that is the best thing that you can do in that regards. Deidre, when people die suddenly, is that why ghosts stay behind? Generally with ghosts, this is not something that I generally focus my attention on, as you can imagine. However, generally speaking, with many ghosts, it is not the entire soul, it is not the entire individual. It is a part of them. So it's a small part left behind. And this generally will happen in a very traumatic passing, a very traumatic lifetime. And so if someone, say, has an accident, a car accident, and they die in that car accident, that's a very traumatic passing, and they can find themselves stuck, or a part of themselves stuck. Then there is also those times when you will cross suddenly and you have left your partner behind, or your child behind, or whatever the case may be. Or perhaps it's a child that has crossed over and the parent is devastated. And so the soul that has crossed over, they would be classified as a ghost, but they're not overly stuck because they are there trying to assist the one left behind. Generally, those who are stuck, it's usually a part of themselves. And this is why, and this is a very good question, because one of the things that an individual can do is they can, once a day, once a week, once a month. But at some point, you should sit down, go within, and just call out. Not verbally, but call out from within your heart all those pieces of yourself through time, wherever they are, wherever they're stuck, to come back to you. And the more you do this, you will feel pieces of yourself coming back inside of you. And when that happens, you may have different memories pop up. You may have different dreams happen, all sorts of things like that. So that is a very good question. And so that is something that is very important to do. Anita, will you return home or stay with the project after your last lifetime? Your understanding is that you are here observing a particular part of this project. You've come here as an observer. And not truly in the capacity that you think. The world in which you come from is on the cusp of making a choice, making a decision. And you are one of the ones here observing to assist in making, in your world, making that decision, that choice. Truth of the matter is, you're not actually here in the capacity as a normal starseed. But special permissions were granted because you are here to ascertain information that will assist your world in making a decision on the direction it will go in the future. As far as what will happen after your last incarnation, whether you will remain here in that observer mode, or where you will, or the fact that you will not need to do that anymore, but will have had or have received all of the information that you require, that is still undecided as of yet. I am very familiar with you and the world you come from. So, yes. I believe that answers that question. Sadis, you are asking if I have a message for you, and I do. Trust and faith. And focus on a simple premise, that whatever happens is for the highest and greatest good of all concerned. And always remember, you are not alone. Robin, do you choose your last incarnation, or is it when you've completed your mission? Well, it depends. But at the end of the day, you have a say in every incarnation you have. And it is generally in alignment with who you are and the reason that you are here. It is very, very important to realize and understand that you may have individual missions for individual lifetimes, but the overall mission that you are on is the same that every starseed is on, which is to assist the humanity of Earth in its evolution and ascension. And just like all the other starseeds, you have been doing this very, very well over a very long period of time. When your final incarnation happens is when it will happen, and you do not need to be overly concerned about that. Trust in yourself. Dana, you have already met some whom you know on the other side. As far as the light language goes, although it is spoken on your world, it is one of those situations that your particular race of people actually prefer not to speak unless they absolutely have to. So, yes. Margot, please ensure that you do not limit yourself. Remember that all things are possible. Kim, you wish to know where you come from. Where you come from is not known to humanity on this planet. It is not a star system or anything like that that they see. But where you come from is on the other side of this galaxy, approximately halfway between the central sun and the edge on the other side of this galaxy. It is a beautiful world that has 3 moons. It is a little bit larger than this world. And it is, yes, it's just a very beautiful place. I have actually visited your world once, and that is the reason I know about it. So I have, believe it or not, I have not been to every world that's in this galaxy or even in this universe or anything else. So I don't know of all the worlds, but yes. Where I reside, we are not fighting at all. The thing that you must understand is there are many beings in this universe and all over the place that are figuring out what is going to end up being the outcome from this project. And just like on this world, in this dimensional experience, in the 5th dimension, there are those beings who are afraid of what is coming. We can tell them that it's going to be good, it's going to be positive. This is not the only world in this universe that has a tendency to fear the unknown or to fear change. So there is not fighting where I am from. We have experienced several attacks. And to be honest with you, there have been several others, but they have been intercepted and stopped before they could carry on. For the most part, the worlds that are involved in this project are peaceful. There are those worlds that are of darkness, and for the most part, they have their own agendas. But for the most part, most worlds will not cross a particular line. And that line became much larger recently with the activation for this world of the dragon clans. The dragon clans are now very much a part of this project once again, because they were very much a part of this at the beginning of the project. And now they are again. And so there are people out there who may think they have their own dragon because they pick up a dragon who is with them. Truth be told, they are here to assist all Starseed. And so it's very likely that you might feel or pick up on a dragon. And if you do, they are simply there to assist. So, yes, if you want more about dragons, you can listen to the thing he did the other day on dragons. So it is somewhere on his page. Gloria, you're not totally sure as to your mission here on this planet. Any idea? Yes, I have a tremendous idea. My idea is you allow Spirit to work more fully in your life, okay, and trust yourself a lot more in your heart, and be present in the now moment of time. do not focus on the past. Do not try and figure out the past and all of this other stuff. It no longer matters. Be present in the now moment of time. And if you are, you will begin to see signs from Spirit much more clearly than you have before. And as you do, and you follow it, and you have trust and faith, and you discern, and you follow those signs that will be brought to you, and come to your attention, that will open up for you. There are some things we are not allowed to tell you. This is one of them. And the same would go for you, Heather, as well. Do you have a specific mission? Yes. You will learn more about that soon enough. I know what you are going to be doing, so. Janelle, the only message that there is from that side of the veil, if you will, is how much you are loved and that you are not alone. Christy, you feel as though you are going to cross over soon, but you also feel like you have so much work to do and it is causing you stress. Any insights? Yes, I do. Have a tremendous insight for you. This one, on the physical level, shall we say, almost 2 months ago, turned 55 years old. Okay? Now, when he was a teenager, from about the age of 14, he was convinced, he knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, he was going to cross over at the age of 33. So you can imagine his surprise when he turned 34 and 35, and he didn't actually cross over. I would not worry about things like you feel like you're going to cross over soon. You don't need to worry about that. On a soul level, you already know exactly the date and time and place where you will pass, where you will cross over. It is kind of like you don't need to be thinking about where you're going to go once you leave this world, because that's already sorted out. You don't need to worry about that. When that time comes and you cross over, you will go exactly to where you're supposed to be. It's very simple, trust and faith. So the bottom line is, do not be consumed with the thought or the idea, well, I'm going to cross soon, but I've got all this work to do. How am I going to manage it? How am I going to do it? And while you're stressing about it and thinking about it, you're doing nothing. So when you wake in the morning, you do what your heart guides you to do on that day. Do not think or consider about when you're going to cross. You don't need to. That will be taken care of. Your focus is today, in the now moment of time. Your focus is living your life here now. That is what it's about. Do you understand? Very, very, very vitally important. Trust and faith, Tina. The question, can you tell me what planet I come from? And is it in this galaxy? Thank you for your response. Much to discern. I would say, no, I will not tell you. It is not important. It is more important for you to focus more fully on letting go of what you think you know and realizing that there is so much more happening than you can possibly imagine. Philippe, thank you so much for your words. You are, Kim. I will answer one more question. Kat Marquez, are you an Earth Angel, and is your mission to be solo? You are not an angel, but I guess on one level you could definitely call yourself an Earth Angel. You have a very large and beautiful heart. You are very compassionate and empathetic. As far as being solo, that is down to you and what you wish and what you decide, you see. Because truth be told, sometimes with some people, they can be the most tolerant people around. They can be the most helpful that you can imagine. But when it comes to being with a partner, being with somebody, they have this tendency to have very high expectations. They want someone who is perfect. They want someone who is the type that it fits like a glove, shall we say. And some people say, but this is what I deserve. I deserve to have that in my life. But what I see when people do this many times, they are afraid to lower their walls. We both know you have experienced being disappointed and let down. There is always that possibility in any relationship. You are not meant to be solo. But if you are, it will be by your choice. The thing is, and the thing to remember is, you can have two individuals who come together, and as long as there is mutual respect, love, and compassion for each other, the allowance of allowing each one to express themselves as they are guided to do so, to believe as they wish to believe without being criticized and judged, any relationship can work. If you want to be solo, you can. If you do not wish to be, you do not have to be. There is someone for you, but there has been a couple of other potentials you have ushered away as well. Be mindful, trust your heart, please. Anita, if I told you, I don't believe you would believe me. Perhaps another time. I wish to give all my love, compassion, my support to each one of you. I am in service to each one of you as you walk your path upon this planet. My name is Alsharon of the GodStar, in service to Source, planet Earth, and to every starseed on planet Earth. Many blessings and love to all of you. Wanakarata hitoroto, tomai taratamaita, ya moroto, loprotomoka taratamateshe, yamatake.